everyone, and welcome to the Atelier Nekozuki podcast. My name is Katie. Today is Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, and this is episode 79. I legit just went to look up the episode numbers for today's episode and realized that I've titled the last two episodes episode 77, so sorry for any confusion there. Last week was actually episode 78, and this is actually episode 79, so you know, what you gonna do? Yeah, so hello to any new viewers and welcome back to any returning viewers. Thanks so much for joining me, whether it's your first or 79th-ish time. I know there's been some informal vlogs, so 80 times-ish in the past few years. So it has suddenly transferred from being spring-ish weather to summer, just like this. There's been absolutely no warning and no preparation, and honestly, I love hot weather. I much prefer it to the winter time because you can actually go outside and do things and not freeze appendages off. But the sudden shift has been a little bit too juggle, considering that I went and did Inglewood Night Market last Friday, and we had snow that morning. It didn't stick on the ground, but it was definitely falling. And then I was standing at the show and it was pouring rain and windy, and I was in my winter boots, which are like Uggs, and they're tall Uggs, so I had sheepskin all up my leg basically, with the like fleece, and then I had a long sleeve shirt on, a sweater and my winter jacket and a shawl and hat and mittens, and I was still cold. So here's hoping that July's show is nicer weather. As we've discussed, it's the same weekend as the second weekend of Stampede, and given that it's Stampede season, it's just as likely to be crazy raining and thundering as it is to be like sweltering hot. So let's hope for the latter. Anyway, you're not really here for the chatter up front, I don't think, so I will go into that a little bit afterwards, and I'll go into actual works in progress right away here. So one of the items that I'm actually quite happy or quite pleased that I'm getting quite a bit of work done on is I am working on the Dots blanket by Donna Lee, and I have 2 of these strips done. I need 14. I'm going to crochet them into rows like this, and then I'm going to block them, because I did try to actually crochet the 2 rows together the other night and it just was not working. So if I need to, then I can like pick out the in-betweens here and fix it, because it might actually be, I don't know, I think doing them in rows like this is better, but now that I say that, I wonder if it'd be better just to kind of like crochet each individual dot into the blanket, because realistically how you're supposed to be doing this is like they kind of settle in between. So it might actually be easier and less time consuming to kind of connect them individually. So I don't know how I'm going to do that exactly, but I have enough for 2 rows done so far. I do have all the blue inner dots done, because what I was doing originally was doing the blue. And then I hadn't realized that you could just do the gray right away. I thought that the gray was like continuous and so that it was connected in between the dots. But it's not. It's actually done while in the circle, when you're crocheting the circle, and then connected. So I don't know yet, honestly. I feel like maybe I should just, now that I look at it, I should just like do this 1 row and then crochet them in between. It would probably be more like I would have a more satisfactory finish for me if I did that instead. So we'll see. That's due in August, so I've got under 2 months to finish it. I really want to get it finished on time. I'm really terrible about gift knits. It is a gift, and getting them finished on time, but I will really attempt to get this one finished. You guys have to hold me accountable. 2 rows is not enough. There's still like, so there's seven dots per color per row, so that means that I still have, there's 49 of the green and purple each. Look at me do math on camera. So there's 98 minus 7 minus 14, 91, 84. Still have 84 of the green and purple to crochet, so it's a lot of work ahead. I will be out of town next week, so it's not a project that I'm going to carry along with me. Well, actually, maybe I should, because I could just crochet a bunch of dots. And if the dots are done, then it'll make it easier to crochet it together when I get home. I don't know what I'm going to do, because I finished some stuff too, so it's like I want to like cast on new things, and I know that's not the point. I'm trying to finish off whips, but I wanna. You don't have to hold me accountable to not casting on things, though. Please don't. The other projects I am working on knitting projects, because crochet, I'm not as proficient at crochet as I am at knitting. So if I'm wanting to do anything besides really read or listen to an audiobook, I can't crochet. I have to knit. So I got some work done on my mud punch sock. I don't remember where I was last time. Sorry, guys. But I do know that I got some work done on it, and this is on Chiaogu red lace, US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. I'm sorry, Chantel, I still didn't look up what colorway this actually is. I know it's got math and jumble. It might be jumble math. Either way, I did pick it up at Knit City 2018, and I absolutely love this speckle stripe. So I really like that. I just really like this color combination. This green and pink, if you've seen me chat about these before, is like one of my favorite combos. It was actually our wedding colors. Dallas's colors were a little bit darker for this, for the actual party. But most of our decorations ended up in these two tone ranges. And there's the gumball ball of it as well. So I'm really enjoying these. Chantel's colorways always knit up really nice. I haven't had any problems with running, at least in my water. We do have hard water here, so that might be part of it, because not a lot of my stuff actually ever has run, because it is a lot dependent on pH. And yeah, I really like how sharp her stripes are. Like, you can only really see two transitions, otherwise they're really nice and sharp. And realistically, I could put those on the foot and you wouldn't even know, so that's probably what I'll do. So yeah, so I've got some work done on that. And then the other thing that I'm working on is also socks. And that's these guys. These are the Fine and Dandy socks by Jessica Gore. And I am into the heel increases already, which is absolutely insane to me. But they are a heel flap and gusset heel from the toe up, which means that the heel starts a lot earlier. It's supposed to start at 4.5 inches from the back center point of the heel to where, so when you put them on, and then plus 4.5 inches. So I did get to that point last week. This is where I was last week. Stitch markers from Sarah Elizabeth Fiberworks. So quite a bit done. I don't know why, but these socks seem to be knitting up extremely fast. Even though they don't look like they've progressed a lot, they actually have. These are another pair of socks though that I can't work on if I have got to concentrate on something else because of the little bit of like detailing here, so you know. This is being knit on Hayas US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. That size is my go-to size for socks. I don't normally knit on Hayas. I don't like the floppy cord because of 2 at a time socks. I find that the body of the Chiaogu works a lot better for 2 at a time for me. Yeah, you can actually really see the difference there, or somewhat anyway. So this one doesn't flop quite as much, whereas this one's just kind of, it's loose, it's here, it's hanging out. And then the yarn is a snow dyed sock blanket by Yuriko Oki out of Vancouver, and you can find her products through Fiber Art Studio on Etsy. So yeah, and both of my sock projects are being held in a small box bag, which you've seen multiple times and is actually starting to get kind of careworn. I need to wash the bag actually, but that is the point of a project bag, is to keep my projects tidy and clean and keep the cats out of them, hopefully. This one actually does have a pizza stain somewhere on it because I was eating pizza and knitting one night and I dropped pizza sauce, as one does. So those are my current works in progress, because I'm pretty sure I told you that the Seraphim is finished. The Seraphim is finished. I blocked it. It's extremely long. I needed to weave in the ends. I can block the collar, and yeah, it reaches my knees. I'm 5'8". I also have an extremely long torso compared, like, well, not extremely long, but a lot of my height is in my torso from about under bust down. I always have to add in length for sweaters so that they don't hit like high hip. I prefer them a little bit longer, especially because most jeans right now are low rise. So, yeah, it hits mid-knee, or at the knee. I'm wearing a dress right now, and it hits the same length as my dress, which is insane to me. So, it's finished, and that's what counts. I have it finished for TNA, so I can actually, like, wear it there. I'm super excited about that because I'll be in the Ancient Arts Yarns booth, and so you can come by and see it. It was knit out of Iron Horse and Raspberry Gelato, US 8, which was called for in the pattern. It's a mosaic knit bands on the bottom, and then the collar as well. And there is a short vest version too, but I felt like the long vest would actually fit my wardrobe better, and I think it will still, even with its length. But it's definitely a statement piece. So it won't be something that I wear quite as often as a lot of my other cardigans and pullovers, but it's got enough neutrality to it with the pop of color that'll fit better than a lot of the stuff I knit normally as well. So it's like, it's a nice balance between the two. So I'm actually really excited about it. I guess that's really all for crafting, but I can go into a little bit of chatter. I've got some new products to show you again. This time they're knitting products, though. I'm super excited about that. With TNA coming up, I do like to try and introduce a new product, and I want to introduce a new product this year at a lower price point, and I think I got it, guys. It's not an insanely lower price point. Well, actually, it's about half the cost of most of my other products, so yes, it is quite a different price point, although it is quite a bit simpler too, so I'll show it to you here after chatter. So let's see what happened. I did Inglewood Night Market. As I said, absolutely miserable weather, but it's extremely busy. It was like, for what the weather was, I was really surprised. There was a lot of people out. So that's always good. I am looking forward to the next one, and just like I said, I hope that the weather's better, because that will help morale all around. What else happened this week? I did do a little bit of gardening. I don't know if I mentioned that last week or not, but I got some clematis and honeysuckle and planted them. We have a pergola on our deck, so I want to do some vines so that we get a little bit of a privacy screen from our side neighbor, because basically right now, if you sit on the deck, we kind of both look at each other. So I want to get some vines that kind of grow up and over. And then not all of my peas died in the snow, which is super exciting. And it looks like some of the morning glories or moonflowers also survived. There's sprouts that are not peas, but I can't tell what they are yet until they start blooming. So I haven't really killed a lot yet this year, which is nice. I did cheat a little bit and got some petunias and snapdragons just as like the starter packs, and planted them. I'm trying to do more of a bee-friendly garden, so I've planted items that bees will like as well, such as, well, snapdragons actually apparently are quite high on that list. I've also planted dahlias in the same garden as the peonies, and now that I mention that, I do remember talking a little bit about it, because someone else said that peonies were their favorite flowers, and they're my favorite flowers too. That's why I want peonies so bad in the backyard. So here's hoping that they actually start blooming, because apparently that's difficult with them right now. I did go and get my hair done today, actually. I've been thinking about this cut again I had this cut last year, so it's a little bit longer in the front and then shorter in the back. And I've been thinking about going and getting my hair done for about a month, and then I finally went, oh man, I actually need to get an appointment before I go down to the States. So I was on the cancellation list, and then last minute appointment came up today, so I went and did that. She did this really cool like wash on it with some pink. So it's got this really nice rose tone to it right now, which I'm really digging. And then I bit the bullet and finally got someone, well, I went in and got my brows waxed. I have never done it before. Generally I do tweeze just because I do like to keep them cleaned up, but I was just like, screw it, I want to go and try this and see, get a little bit nicer shape, someone else, like another opinion on them. And actually they haven't changed that much. I doubt if I hadn't said anything, I doubt anyone but me would actually notice. But to be quite honest, it was in some ways less painful than tweezing, and it was a lot faster. And I think I'm a convert, at least for waxing brows. So we'll see how that goes. Maintenance is about once a month, which isn't too bad, considering the cost of it as well. That's most of the part of the reason, and most of the reason actually, that I usually have tweezed is that I didn't want to have to pay for it. But considering the results and just how quick it was, I think that'll probably start going back. So I had a really good esthetician today, and yeah, it's just a local, it's Flirt Cosmetics Bar in Cochrane, so I really enjoyed that. And then my hair was done at Stellar Studio by Selma, who I've been seeing for the past few years. So I'm really happy about the hair because it helps the curls, and we cut it long enough so that I can still put it up in a ponytail, because I will die while exercising if I can't do that. But yeah, it just kind of like lifts everything up, and it was starting to look kind of scraggly, like it was long but scraggly, so I'm really happy. And then Dallas is finishing off his crazy OT, so he'll be back on Friday. And my birthday is technically on June 20th, but neither of us are home because I'll be at TNA and he's on shift. So we're gonna actually go out on Friday with some friends. We're gonna go do Calcutta Cricket Club, which is a curry restaurant in Calgary. They actually have like a tasting menu for the table, which I'm really interested in. And then there is a bar downtown in Calgary as well called Proof, and they've got a bunch of like literature inspired cocktails, so I'm super excited to go try that as well. Totally up my alley as an English major. I texted one of my friends like what the plan kind of was, and she was a fellow English major, and she's like, they've got stuff named after like Paddington Bear, and there's a couple other ones, like I think The Color of Magic, which is a Terry Pratchett book title, and like we're both super excited. Dallas has already volunteered to DD, so we're set. It is my 30th birthday, so I wanted to do something a little bit different and off what we normally do. So I figured that this might be a good way to do it. So that's what's kind of coming up, and then I leave for Cleveland on Tuesday. It actually worked out perfect. We're leaving Tuesday, and that's the same as Dallas's schedule, so the cats kind of know something's up. I haven't been in the house much, so they're all very attention deprived. If you've been watching my Instagram stories and such, Flynn has been making sure to quality control inspect pretty much everything that comes into the house right now. He's literally, what I keep glancing at over here is he's like right over here, behind the camera. Let me reach towards you. And he's just chilling in a box of eggs, so I am sorry. They definitely make sure to quality control inspect the products, so we have cats. What else has happened, or what else is coming up? Yeah, we'll be in Cleveland for TNA, the summer TNA show, and then come back, and basically we've only got a few days home after that, and then we're back out for a wedding, so that's exciting. But the summer is definitely going to be busy, so I also have to get in and get a dress actually fitted. I don't do garments yet. I know I can sew, but taking in clothing scares me. And also part of it is also that I have to then dig out my older machine, which is packed away right now, because I've only been using the industrial, and the older machine has the zigzag stitching and everything like that, and the fabric would need to be zigzag stitched, and it's just, right now I don't have the mind power or technical, like, mind skills, not skills, power, desire to put the effort into learning how to actually fit my garments. So I have to take a dress in to actually get fitted for that wedding as well, which I should probably do this week just to make sure that it's actually done in time. But I did do quite a bit of reading this week. Well, listening I guess would be a better description, because with people coming in to look after the cats, I'm making sure to kind of deep clean the house, and one of the best ways to keep myself on task is definitely to listen to some audiobooks, same as working for sewing as well. So I did finish A Poison Dark and Drowning, and then A Sorrow Fierce and Falling, both by Jessica Cluess. Those two were the final two in the A Kingdom on Fire trilogy. I have some mixed feelings about the final book. The second book was really good. The final book, there were some reviewers that were kind of like, she kind of loses her way, and I can see where they get that. I've more found that the relationship was extremely toxic, and it got weird in the second book, and then it just got worse. So I'm just kind of, I don't know, it fell flat towards the end for me. Overall, I enjoyed the series. I would recommend it, but just with kind of that disclaimer that, yeah, the relationships kind of triggered some warning bells for me. And then the other one is The Hollow Kingdom by Claire B. Dunkel, which really doesn't have much better in relationships. It was really good. It was touted as a like underrated fairy tale, and that's totally where I would put it. Basically, a Goblin King comes up and kidnaps a bride, because that's a super healthy relationship right there. But I really like watching the growth of that story, so it was good. Yeah, we're not going to go into the details of that one, but I did enjoy it. I say growth as though, yeah, considering that a lot of people consider like Beauty and the Beast to be Stockholm Syndrome, this would definitely qualify under that. But yeah, definitely an underrated fairy tale. I would recommend it to listen to because I enjoyed it. So it's a little bit older and like a 2002-2003 audiobook, so that was kind of interesting as well. So let's get away from awkward fairy tale renditions and go into new product. Now, this new product won't be available in the shop until July, simply because with TNA and the wedding coming up, I will have very little time to kind of develop and photograph, and well, like just the making process in its whole completion will be difficult to complete before mid-July. But what I have, or what I'm going to be adding, is cake cozies. So they're just little elasticized sleeves to go over your cakes. My thought process on these is that they're useful for one skein projects if you just want to kind of chuck it in something else. This is a worsted weight skein, but like for the fingering weight skein, it's actually even better. Closes it up a bit more. And obviously it doesn't hold your project or your needles or anything like that, but if you're just going on the go, you can throw this in a bag and head out. They would also be useful in project bags for 2 separate skeins. And then you would be able to, like, 2 at a time, a little bit easier without them getting tangled on the outside. I tried to make them mostly one size fits all. So you can see here, so this one is a fingering weight skein. This one here is a DK weight skein. And this one here is Lasco, which is worsted weight. So you can, basically those 3 weights will fit these the best. I wouldn't go above a worsted weight. You probably could go below a fingering weight into a lace weight for this. Obviously it'll rattle around a little bit more in something like this, but hey, it's working still. This would also, the other thought process on it is it would be super useful for something like linen, or like anything kind of that's going to basically just fall apart on itself, because it would at least be then contained in the cake cozy. So yeah, so these are the new edition that will be coming up in July. I have currently made it in cacti. Actually, these are just houseplants. A lot of succulents. Super bright though, it's super cute. Badgers. Now, most of these will be one of a kind, unless I have a special request, simply because they're a good way to use up scraps. I end up getting a lot of scraps that are kind of odd sized, and so they kind of get diverted into, I guess not scraps, more like cutoffs that won't make a full-size bag, but like they're too big to put into patchwork necessarily. So a lot of those get diverted into notions pouches, needle stashers, and now these. So that's how I keep my waist down as well. Most of my cuts are very straight, like as in they're boxes and wedges. So there's not a lot of curves, at least in my project bag making. So I end up with a lot of stuff like this that'll work perfect. This one I am still laughing about because this is some of the losses of Tomcat fabric. But you know, it's hot outside. So, and he's a tomcat, so sun's out, balls out, I guess. Make sure to spay and neuter your cats and your pets. But I do know that there is a lady up in Edmonton, and apparently after they neutered her cat, they left the skin behind. So whenever I see this, I think of her and also giggle because I know she was so happy when she got this fabric. So as you can see, these do have quite a bit of like rim in them for more, well, not more yarn, but for the actual like cakes. So those are those three. I also have one that has the pattern running a little bit different direction just to shake it up. And then clutter of cats. As you can see, some very classic fabrics, because why not? And then My Pleasant Company, cat. Everyone is on good terms. So yeah, so these will be available in July. I want to make sure that I have a few more on hand. I also want to take these to TNNA and show them off as the new product of the year, because it is exciting to have something a little bit different, and a little bit different price point as well. These guys will be $20, just to give everyone a heads up. Don't normally mention prices on the podcast, but since I mentioned it earlier, may as well. So yeah, if you see any here that you are like desperately wanting and need to have in your life, let me know and I will set it aside for you so that it doesn't get sold, or let you know if I have more fabric so I can make it when I get back. But yeah, these will be introduced in more fabrics as well. My next knitting show is at Knit City in October. So if you want to also do any kind of like pickup orders or anything like that, if you see stuff over the summer that you're like, okay, I can wait on it, let me know and I'll set it aside and you can pick it up at Knit City. Or come visit me at Inglewood Night Market in July. You can come get some of these pretties. And say hi to me, because you know, obviously. Yeah, but so next week it will not be a formal podcast. It will be an informal vlog. Likely not a tipsy vlog, although that was fun. But I will give you an update and a little bit more informal just run through of what I've gotten for progress. Obviously with flights, I will likely have quite a bit of progress, which is exciting. It's also a knitting show, so we tend to basically go back to the house and chill and knit, which is super nice. And yeah, so I'll have some progress to show y'all, and I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will chat with you soon. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day. Awesome week, I guess. Bye.